So following Trump's indictment on Monday evening, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who, for the record, was actually called as a witness in that investigation, was not indicted, was not one of the 19 people indicted. However, it's worth noting there are 30 unindicted co-conspirators, so it's likely that Lindsey Graham falls into that category. Either way, Lindsey Graham goes on Fox News to cry about Donald Trump's most recent indictment, where he offered a defense of Donald Trump that ended up getting him torn to shreds on social media. So here is Lindsey Graham in his own words explaining how this whole thing should have played out, apparently ignoring the reality of how things did play out. Here he is.
Yeah, play this forward. How do you run for president in 2024, moving between courthouses in New York City and Washington, D.C. and Florida and Atlanta?
He's spending more money on lawyer fees than he is running for office. January the 6th, I was there. I saw it. He was impeached over it. The American people can decide whether they want him to be president or not. This should be decided at the ballot box, not in a bunch of liberal jurisdictions trying to put the man in jail.
As pretty much everybody on social media pointed out to Lindsey Graham, the voters did have their say, Lindsey, in 2020. They voted Donald Trump out of office, which, as I'm sure you know because you're a witness in the case, is what led to Donald Trump engaging in election interference and trying to overturn the results of the election. So your suggestion to let the voters handle it was already done, and your guy wouldn't accept that. So he does all these things. He engages in the grand conspiracy, allegedly, because all of this is alleged, engages in the conspiracy allegedly, solicits officials to violate their oath of office. He has his people talk to Sidney Powell, who sends her people down to Coffee County to copy the information off the voting machines. And that's just, the one case, and that's just a handful of the indictments. Donald Trump is now facing 91 counts with the 4 different indictments. Okay, this is not, let's just let the voters decide. The voters decided. They decided to send his butt packing. Lindsey Graham is one of the people out there that refuses to accept that. He also made calls to officials in Georgia, which leads me, as I said, to believe one of two things. Either Lindsey Graham is one of the unindicted co-conspirators, or Lindsey Graham, the coward, is actually trying to play both sides of this. Remember, Lindsey Graham also made phone calls. Lindsey Graham made trips down to Georgia. Lindsey Graham tried to fight to not have to testify against Donald Trump, but he was forced to do so anyway. So Lindsey Graham talked to that grand jury. He had to testify, yet he's not mentioned in the indictment at all. That would leave me to believe that Lindsey Graham actually cooperated. Where people can't see him cooperate. Versus what he says on Fox News when he goes out there and cries and begs people, send money to Donald Trump because it's so sad. And oh no, we should let the voters decide. You're cooperating. Prove me wrong, Lindsey. Come out and tell us that you did not cooperate with those prosecutors. Otherwise, I'm going to keep believing that you did. And you're just trying to have it both ways right now because nobody knows that you cooperated, right? That, to me, seems like the most logical thing as to why Lindsey Graham's saying one story on Fox News, but also why his name is completely missing from those Georgia indictments. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.